Today in Clash Royale, I'm trying out your deck ideas until we lose a game. And today's deck idea comes from, and I hope I'm saying your name correctly, comes from Raniel, and it is this graveyard deck with, we have Evo Knight in there, Skeleton King, and Prince, so we have three tanks. Evo E-Dragon is in there as well, a couple of spells, a building, and then of course Graveyard. And I played this deck a little bit before recording this video to kind of get an idea of how the flow of the game works, just to kind of get a little bit familiar with the deck. And this guy here likes chicken, so we'll hit him with the chicken emote right out of the gate, and we'll fireball that just because we didn't have a great answer for that. We didn't have our arrows. Those are the only two cards that are going to be able to counter the Goblin Barrel fully are the arrows and the fireball. So we'll probably try to use either one of those. And our opponent is not doing much of anything. I don't know if he... It looks like he might just be lagging. So we'll didn't respond in time for the Dark Goblin. Looks like we're up against some kind of bait deck. And we'll just go with the E-Dragon just to mitigate the damage and kind of cycle to our Evo. Well, like I mentioned, I played this deck a little bit before recording this video, and it's not a bad deck at all. I do like it. I don't know if you intentionally designed it this way, but it's actually really good at countering Mega Knight. It's kind of an anti Mega Knight deck. I played against someone that had Mega Knight and Boss Bandit, and his entire strategy was just reliant on putting the Mega Knight in the back, putting the Boss Bandit in front, and then he had Royal Ghost as well that he would put. So he would essentially just spam as many of those cards as he could, and that he would rely on that for his push. And normally that would be a really annoying thing to defend. Like, nobody likes to see their opponent just spam Mega Knight and Boss Bandit. It's not it's not fun to defend that. But we have three tanks in this deck. We have the Knight, we have the Prince, we have the Skeleton King. So I just found that it wasn't really an issue to defend. Like, it was, I would say it was a fairly easy game to win when normally it wouldn't be. So it's nice that it's kind of an anti-Mega Knight deck, because there are a lot of Mega Knight users. It's not really a card that you ever get past. Like, before, I thought, okay, once you get past, once you get to 8 or 9 or 10,000 trophies, then you'll be good. You won't encounter any more Mega Knight, because people are going to be more sensible. People are going to be playing genuine decks. People are going to have more skill at this level, but not really. It's not really a card that you ever get away from. Like, people at the very top still, I mean, not the very top, but people who are at 9 or 10,000 trophies still play it. It seems like they play it. It seems like I still play it more than half the games, honestly. So it's nice that this deck is kind of anti-Mega Knight. It's nice that you have a few tanks for the graveyard. We end up winning the first game, which is nice. Usually that deck or that style of deck is kind of a nuisance to play. Just really quick cycle kind of bait decks with Princess and Dark Goblin and Bomber, just because those are all decent answers to the graveyard. But I don't think our opponent played it very well. So we're just going to jump right into the next one. One of the things that I noticed is that it does well against Mega Knight. It also does well against like any kind of beatdown push, like Golem beatdown, or I think I've only played Golem beatdown, but because it has the Evo E-Drag, I don't really think that there's any card that's better than just completely shutting down a massive push than the E-Drag. So the Evo version. So it's also good against those kinds of pushes. And we're up against, I'm already forgetting what his first card was, Goblins. and Hog Rider, and we probably could have gone cannon there, but we're not going to. We're gonna save that, and then we're gonna go with a graveyard with this just to kind of see what he has, even into an executioner. I don't think that's terrible, just because that should target the Skeleton King, and Valkyrie is also a very good answer. So he has a little bit of splash. He has the executioner. He has the Valkyrie. But you could see the graveyard still did a ton of damage. I think that this deck is, I wouldn't say it's broken, but it's very, very strong. And hopefully that executioner doesn't get a hit, just barely. Now we can go with our cannon and kind of keep Prince on standby just in case he does anything. Yeah, this deck is going to be a little bit harder to win, just because with our spells, like with the Dark Goblin, at least you could arrow it. But with this, you can't just fireball the Valkyrie or arrow the Valkyrie and expect it to kill everything. So we'll go with a Knight to hopefully distract the Executioner so that we can kill it. And then we'll just kind of, we might as well fireball that just because it's by the tower. So as of now, we are up in damage. We are winning, but you know what? We'll go with a graveyard with this just because we have two tanks kind of coming down the lane, and it looks like our opponent has given up. So that's going to be another win. That was also kind of a, not an ideal matchup just because Valkyrie's a very good answer to graveyard, and it's not something that we can use a spell on. But the competition's also a little bit lower just because we're, I think how it works is you play other people that are in the same place, at the challenge as you are. So we're also playing people with only one win. So the competition's only gonna ramp up as we go on, and we're gonna keep playing until we lose a game with this deck. Yeah, overall, I would say this deck, I would probably give it a, I don't know, 8 out of 10. It's a very solid deck. I think the only real downside is it's a little bit on the heavier side. So when you play kind of bait decks, which are, I would say, fairly common to face, it's a little bit harder to keep up with the super quick bait cycle because your deck's a little bit heavier. But overall, it feels like a solid deck, and this is going to be interesting. I think we're up against another graveyard player. We'll fireball that just so that we can kill. Oh, that was a... Did not mean to do that. I meant to put that back and go with a cannon. So now we're going to take a lot of damage, and we are up against another graveyard player. We actually didn't take as much damage as I thought there, so that's good. Our answers for graveyard, we do have E-Dragon, and I don't think he has a big spell. So that should be a decent answer to the graveyard. And I don't think we have to answer the guards anymore. So we'll just go with the Skeleton King, and then we might... Okay, no, we're not going to go... I'm not going to go for a graveyard anymore into that, because he could just use the ability. We'll just kind of set up for defense here and see if he decides to go in. And he does. I don't know that I heard that the skeleton spawn pattern was like they emergency nerfed it. Like they that's what I heard, but it doesn't seem like it is. Like it seems like the skeletons are still pretty spaced out. I don't know if I'm just seeing that, but it does seem like the E-Dragon just has a harder time hitting all of them. And we have not gotten a lot of damage as of yet, so we're definitely going to need to get a push-up at some point. And we already know that he's going to go in here, so we might as well Go with a hero knight to try and defend, and then a skeleton king as soon as we're able. And you can see that the skeletons are still really spaced out. So even though we have a couple troops there, it's like it's still hard for them to hit. But this is kind of a big push here. So maybe we can make something out of it. He does have poison though, I forgot about that. So we'll fireball that just because the ice wizard is by the tower. And we might as well use our ability as well, because that'll at least force out something else that he can't poison as easily. And now we have a little bit of damage, which is good. We're not completely out of it just yet. We'll go with this kind of high just so that he can't poison it. And we might as well go in here just to force out a poison on defense. And the skeletons are still getting a couple chips. Like the ones that are really close to the tower, it looks like they're still getting a little bit of damage. And we'll fireball that just because that should hit mostly everything there. And now we'll just prepare for a defense. And the cannon there is actually going to help out a ton as well. It's going to get kind of the skeletons on the other side. This is kind of coming down to the wire here. He did just use his poison there, so we can go with it here. And I think the skeleton guy is going to be way too far up to actually hit any of the skeletons with it. So hopefully we can get some damage. We're still losing. And he's saving his poison as well, so we're gonna go guards. This is incredibly close. I think he has too much there. So this is where it ends for us. We are gonna lose this game, but that was, I guess, somewhat close until the very end there. Overall, very good deck. I do like the deck. I'm starting to play Graveyard a little bit more recently, just because I'm realizing it's a good card, and having a few tanks there definitely does help with the annoying Mega Knight Boss Bandit encounters. So if you are encountering Mega Knight in pretty much every game, which I think most people are, like it seems like no matter where you are, you just encounter Mega Knight a bunch. So if you want kind of an anti-Mega Knight deck, this has a great answer to it. If you're encountering beatdown pushes a lot, like Golem beatdown, it has Electro Dragon there, which is a great answer. A couple good spells. Graveyard's a good win condition, so this is a very good deck. A shout out to Ranyul. And if you guys have any deck ideas that you want me to try out in a future video, just leave them in the comments and I will try them out in a future video, just like this one. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and hopefully you have a wonderful rest of your day.